Well, we're at the African American Black History Month exhibit with Mr.
Richard Cannon.
Mr. Cannon here, and my exhibit is also up. And we're celebrating African Americans, which we need to celebrate them all year long as all people. And it's just wonderful that you're here, Michael, because I haven't seen you for so long.
I've never met you, so nice to see you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, do good stuff. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
So who's going to give me a narrative of what they've been doing?
Well, I've been teaching with the Arts Council for Monterey County for over 17 years, and also with the MPUSD district for over 7 years. And I'm also certified now as a social emotional certified teacher with UCLA Arts and Healing. And it's wonderful because I'm working with teachers, training teachers in the social emotional teaching, as well as working with students. And as you know, Michael, I work with thousands of students all across the Central Coast. So it's just very rewarding, and I'm having a wonderful time.
Tell me about some of your art you've got exhibited.
Okay, so right here you can see I have my hand-beaded artwork.
Yes, I'm seeing that.
I hand-beat it with a toothpick.
Oh my God.
So it's one bead at a time, and I mix a non-toxic potion so that the beads remain on the art. And as you can see, I have several pieces here. This piece is called Amazing Grace.
Oh, yes.
And then I have my dolls that I made a while back.
There's some history to Afro-American dolls in America, no?
They're called the Colored Girls because I wrote a children's book called Where is Pretty? And so, you know, everybody's always saying pretty, 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 but as we get older, we know that changes. So the pretty is inside of us. That's where it is. So you see I have my colored girls, and they're come in all different colors. And I'm just having a wonderful time, Michael.
Oh, beautiful. I'm so glad you took time to talk to me. This is
glad
magic.
you're here. You're such a blessing to us all. Thank you.
Hey, who are you? How are you? And what's going on here?
Okay, I'm Richard Cannon. I'm a photographer. I moved to the peninsula in 2004. I got real excited about the photography community down here, so I got very involved. I've been with the Center for Photographic Art. I'm a member of the Image Makers of Monterey, and I love photography. This is my own work. I very seldom do portraits, but I love jazz.
Right.
So when Sandra asked me to be in the show and reflect something about the black community, well, that's the first place I went, was about jazz. Because jazz is the original American art form. Started back in the days of slavery with the gospel, evolved to what we know today as the modern jazz, and so I just try to capture. These are wonderful guys. This is Leon Joyce, who's the leader of this group. They're playing down at a club in Seaside called Deja Blue. You can catch them down there, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Very good. Well, you want to tell us about each one? Like here we have a keyboard player right next to you.
Sure. Well, this is a very interesting guy. This is Scotty Wright.
Okay.
Scotty, if that's his right hand on the keyboard. Scotty had a stroke a while back and lost use of his left hand, and he plays more piano with his right hand than a lot of dudes play with both hands. And this guy's really, really good.
And over here?
And this is David Daniels. I have Leon in the background there. David Daniels is a bass player. He's from Oakland. He comes down here to play. He's played with Ray Charles. He's played with some of everybody. He's a very, very, very understated guy. This is Leon Joyce. One of the best drummers on the West Coast, in my opinion, best drummers alive today. He's played with Ramsey Lewis. He's just recorded with a lot of different people, and he's just really special drummer. Plays with Dick Whittington, a lot of guys locally down here. Okay. And Lee Durley is just a prince.
Our beloved Lee Durley.
Lee, you know, my wife's mother was in a nursing home or a senior facility, and Lee and his partner would come down there, and they still do this. They go around to the senior centers and they entertain the folks there, and I think they do it pro bono, you know, and just kind of part of the sense of community. But a really special guy, really neat guy. So I've got four more, one of each.
Let's have a look. I'm going to cut it off and turn.
This is probably my favorite photo of the whole group. I think I captured some feelings, some emotion on this guy, so I like that, you know. And then another one of Scotty on piano.
Yes.
And then Leon in a more serious Leon in the most serious moment, because he's actually leading the group. Even he's the drummer, he's actually leading the group. So, and then once again, David Daniels, super guy,
Gotcha.
great.
Thank you.
Okay.
But thank you for being here. We need you. And this was the center for photography for the whole world in the 1930s.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Ansel Adams and Ed Weston and the whole group. And there's still a lot of folks around that work for them. John Sexton was Ansel's last assistant before he died. And he's very active. Martha Casanave, very famous, or not very, very well-known portrait photographer. Just a lot of good photographers in this area. All right.
Please. Who are you, please?
Jan Ziegler.
And Jane, what have you brought to us today?
I don't have art in here. I just came to look at theirs.
Look at
These
this.
three are the artists.
Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, tell us
This is
a little bit.
Laurie.
Hannah?
I'm Hannah-Laurie Eggerman. Yeah, I'm an artist too, and I had many shows here too. And
Okay, one more for
I love their art. I'm just blown away.
in the middle. And it turns out that this woman here, Matilda Greer, was actually the youngest of them. She was kidnapped when she was 2. And she was actually brought over with her mother. And it turns out that like one of the people that took them from their village, like a couple of the people were on the same slave ship as they were, and they were all bought in the same area. And she said before she died, she was like, I will never forget for taking me away. So these 3 people were the last 3 survivors. She died in 1947. The one in the middle, Sally Smith, actually took her home literacy test to vote in 1936 and passed it. So she actually like came to the United States as a slave and was registered to vote before she died. And I'm like, dude, that to me is just like, oh, it's amazing. His name is Katja Lewis. He was actually interviewed by Zora Neale Hurston for the WPA, and his interview just came out like 2 years ago, and it's a book called Barracoon. And so you can actually read his interview and what it was like for him being a slave in the United States. So
What were you? She was right in the 20s, 30s, yeah.
Zora Neale Hurston was around until about the early 50s, I believe. Yeah, and so like she worked at the WPA. She was actually a folklorist, where she would travel to different places and she would record folklore and write folkloric books on the folklore. And one of the people that she interviewed was this guy.
I'm sorry, you're living oral tradition. If you don't tell us, some of us won't ever know.
I know. So this is Molly Smith. Molly Smith actually has some of the best. Her interview is found in the Gutenberg Press. They actually have a section with the interviews from all of the WPA people that they interviewed. And hers is actually one of the most thorough interviews. And it's possible to track down like her paper from where she came from and all this other stuff. So it's like the more information I got, the easier the pieces started coming. But it was kind of hard to dig up something beyond, this person was a slave and they just, and they lived and then they died,
Yeah.
So that's sort of what all of this is about, is just giving them a little bit more of a voice. And because it's an oral history, it's not something that you're going to know unless you actually actively look for it.
Thank you, I'm honored.
Oh, no, my pleasure. It's good. And they should be starting up.
I'm on the Art and History Commission. I'm a commissioner. My name is Francoise Avery. For the reception, us commissioners, we come to help out and greet the public, and then also
And to fight the good fight, here you are.
Yes,
God bless
yes.
you. Speaking with Sandra Gray from the Arts Commission of Seaside, California. And this is an amazing exhibit you've put together here for Black History Month. Tell us a little bit about it, please.
Well, first I have to tell you that I'm not a part of the Art Commission anymore. Haven't been, because when you're a city employee, which I am, you can't be an art commissioner anymore. So I had to resign, and at the time I was the chairperson of the Art Commission, which is now the Art and History Commission. It's not just the Art Commission anymore. They joined together, I think it was 2010 that they were combined. And that was mainly just because they pretty much have a common purpose to foster the cultural arts in the city. And I'm the art program coordinator. When I started, I was the director, but they changed the name to coordinator. I said, well, makes sense. So here we are. But my job is to manage this gallery at Avery Gallery and try to make it a destination for artists and people who like art. And I think I've done that over the years. I've been working with this gallery since I first came to the Monterey Peninsula in 1971. But then I was an artist. I found out about the exhibits that were going on here, and I tried being in the adult competitives every year, and then I started being involved in the Black History Month exhibit every year. And I found out about the Art Commission. I got on the Art Commission, and the rest is history. I've been